Hi guys, this is John Judd. So it had occurred to me that as I was making some of these FL Studio videos, that maybe I would make a video about making the videos. So one thing that you need to do when you're making a video afterwards is you have to go in and edit the dialogue. What I do, the first thing is I listen to all of the dialogue. Here's the dialogue from one of the movies, one of the videos I'm making. What I do is I cut out all the parts that are just blatantly not going to use them. You can see I blackened some areas or muted them. And that means, yeah, chances are those are, no, they're obviously not going to get printed, but I have them there, I guess, just in case maybe I thought it was an alternate take. You know, those are things that will probably get edited out of the video portion. But the one thing you never want to do is mess with the actual timeline, like crunch them in or anything like that. That would be a mistake. You have video content that is aligned with those events in this particular sequence. I want to show you my plugin chain. A lot of times in these videos, I do all FL Studio native plugins, and that's totally possible. You don't want to be editing dialogue for the rest of your days. So I was trying to make it quick and easy. And sometimes you might get a third-party plugin that just makes things a little faster. That's why we have Fabfilter stuff here. You can do it in FL, you might just have to work a little harder. Let's listen to some of the dialogue. Now this is dialogue from a video I may or may not have already released. We'll find out. Here's a portion of it. But any part of the music in the track is running through the submix. So just to play this, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. That is some of the dialogue. Now what I did, we have fruity parametric EQ. All I did was I took off the low end. I usually take out the low end in the mixes because sometimes you never even know, like I have a mic stand sitting on the floor. You never know, you might kick it by accident or you might just move your feet and that's actually making vibrations come through. Probably wouldn't even matter because most people are listening to this stuff on their phones, so it might not even come through the bottom end, but you kind of don't want it to be there. So I cut it out just up until the point where my voice is actually resounding. But any part of the music in the track is running through the submix. So I think I can hear I cut out a little bit of the low end of my voice. Next thing we have here, fruity limiter. But why? Well, why, oh, why would you put a limiter right there? It's not functioning as a limiter or compressor. It's actually functioning as a noise gate. So watch this. Or listen to it, whichever. Both. But any part of the music in the track is running through the submix. So just to play this, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to move it to a section where I'm talking more. Blind, can't see a thing. Okay, there we go. So let's say you had a reference track. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it. Let's say you had a reference track that was... Okay, if you listen to that, you can tell that it's noise gating any of the room noise, which is really necessary. And my computer isn't too far away from where I'm sitting recording with a microphone. So listen to the naked room. Let me just find a different spot. We'll see. This is the naked room sound without the noise gate. And okay, so when I'm mixing a song, I actually have everything running through a submix. Okay, so you can hear there's a lot of background room noise. Here's with the gate. And okay, so when I'm mixing a song, you can tell I've been maybe even a little over aggressive with the gate, but this is probably the default gate setting or something close to it. I probably had to move the threshold and maybe I can't remember. I think I messed with the release a little bit, but those things are done to taste. I have a pretty tight gate on it and that's okay with me. So next plugin in the chain. Like I said, some plugins just do the job and do it extremely well and make things move along fast. And Fabfilter Plugins, I can't tell you how much I love these plugins. They just do the job. First of all, they look beautiful, but even more importantly, they do the job you need them to do really well and as transparent as just about anything. You can do this in FL. It just might take a little more work getting it to sound so transparent. Fabfilter Pro DS, that's a de-esser. So it's taking all those fricative sounds that create sibilants and all your k, t, sh, any of those sounds, it's going to be clamping down on those so they don't stick out. Because if you're listening to this on a phone, the fricative sibilant sounds are going to be the ones that are screaming out of that phone. So here's what it sounds like without the de-esser. And Okay, so when I'm mixing a song, I actually have everything running through a submix. The S's are really sticking out. And okay, so when I'm mixing a song, it's not destroying them so I sound like I have a lisp, in which occasionally I've actually gone a little too far with the plugin and it makes you sound like you have a lisp. But this, I crunched down on it a little bit. Next one. Sorry, went to the wrong track. Fabfilter Pro C. No, I haven't upgraded to Pro C2. Yeah, I will, but this one just kills. Pro C is a compressor. It's just compressing the vocal. And okay, so when I'm mixing a song, I actually have everything running through a submix. That ratio is 4:1. This auto gain, I'm not a huge fan of that. What it does is it compensates for the volume loss once you've applied compression. I'm not a huge fan of those. I don't think, I usually do it by hand, but it's just dialogue, so I wasn't too worried about it. Okay. Fruity limiter. That's the last one, and it's actually doing exactly what it says it's doing. It's a limiter. And okay, so when I'm mixing a song, I actually have everything running through a submix. So you can see I wasn't too aggressive with this limiter. All I did, just trimming back the peaks a little bit. The compressor's basically pushing things into the limiter, but very lightly. It's really easy to overdo it, and then you can totally kill your dialogue recording. Just lastly, ceiling. I usually pull this back to about 0.2 decibels. I usually don't let recordings go to straight up to 0 dB. That whole interpeak sampling daily, yeah. And I'm not saying this is protecting necessarily against that, but I usually just give it a little room in case something like YouTube or SoundCloud will create distortion, or any other playback device, or the interwebs players. So I hope this whole thing may have helped you edit dialogue a little bit. So thanks for watching.